Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is another episode of Give Me 5 Minutes. I always say 5 minutes as just a choke chain for the preacher. All right? I know I can't say everything, and if you're in love with Jesus, a lot of times you don't tire of articulating, explaining, teaching, talking, sharing about Jesus. But I also realize it ain't but 24 hours in a day, and I don't want you to quit the channel or turn it off because I'm going too long. But my challenge to you is this. Two things I'll leave you with. I'll begin with. One is go to the website, www.madeupmind.com. If you go there, look around. If you're a school, a small ministry, an outreach, or a shelter, or a camp, look on there and prayerfully consider having me out to teach, share, workshop, seminar, all that stuff. This is not about me. This is about you believing God and partnering with me and us partnering together for the work. That's it. Don't let the formalities or honorarium, all that stuff, skip all that stuff. If you have a desire and you think, hey, maybe God will help us with this brother, please go to the website, look around, and prayerfully something will connect with you. Number two, if you like these short YouTube videos, I would invite you to go to the podcast. It is tay-love onelife.podbean.com. This is where we have longer series, teaching, etc. You could be anywhere in the world with the World Wide Web. But if God is speaking to you through this YouTube channel, that's my prayer for you, that you go to the podcast, because that's where you can get some real meat, okay? And check out the music. A lot of people ain't blatantly talking about Jesus. We got to dress it up and say we ain't Christian rappers and all this stuff. Listen, the Bible hasn't changed. The Bible's not saying I'm not a Christian book. Okay, God is not saying I'm not a holy God. We can't say, I'm going to run from that too. Man, skip all that. Listen, Jesus Christ 100. All day, every day. I'm not ashamed of Jesus. Check out the music, and hopefully it blesses you and connects with you that way too. Now let's get past the introduction. Here we go. This is Prosperity Gimmick 14. Our text for this week is Luke 12:13 through 21. Now I'm reading out of the King James Version. Let me read. Here we go. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or a divider over you? And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God. That was Luke 12:13 through 21, King James Version. Now let me get to my notes and let's try to unpack this in relatively 5 minutes. All right, point number one that I want to bring to you this week is this. Jesus knows how people covet abundant possessions or an abundant life. He begins his remark or his reply to this rich man's request, and he said, Take heed and beware. That's important. This is what he said. And he said unto him, Luke 12:15, and he said unto him, Take heed and beware of covetousness. This is a powerful verse that pops, and stops the prosperity gimmick. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. Oh, that just rocked the mind and heart and the aim of the consumer. So he says it again, a man's life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. So what comes to mind when you hear the phrase, take heed and beware? All right. So you've seen the beware of dog sign and you know what that means. Oh, let me be careful. What Cujo look like? Is he a little dog? Is he behind the tree? You better be careful when you see that sign. So what is the word covetousness? Why does Jesus bring this up specifically when talking about this rich man and all the stuff he had? Covetousness simply means marked by inordinate desire for wealth or possessions or for another's possessions. Having a craving for possession. Now, the Greek in this word covetousness right here in this text means this: the desire for more things. It's like lusting for a greater number of temporal things that go beyond what God determines is eternally best. A quick example, I have a muscle. If I covet muscles, I want this muscle to be like his muscle. My muscle's 10 inches, I want 40 inches. You see? I'm not satisfied with this, so I need the steroid and the whatever they get out there to boost this thing up. You got foolish people that covet muscles so much they inject them to where their arms look like watermelons or cantaloupe, and the rest of their body is a stick figure. Another song for another day. Let's keep going. Those are the boundaries that God sets, and people want to go beyond them. It's kind of like the whole LGBTQAIS2+ thing. I'm a man and I want to go outside of maleness and masculinity, and I want to try to make myself a female. Or people now, I want to be an alligator or a bird. And anyway, all right. I thought we stopped watching cartoons. God telling you to pursue wealth and the prosperity message is God tempting you to covetousness. Did you hear that? If God begins to blow on your mind and blow on your life and tell you to do that, God is tempting you towards covetousness. This is why he tells that man, take heed and beware. All right? So watch this. James 4 or James 3, 14 through 16 reads, King James, but if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. Here's the punchline. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. So what happens when you start becoming, desirous and, I want to have this abundance, Jesus says right here to that rich man, take heed and beware. Covetousness. Once you open that door to covetousness, it becomes strife. I want that. I want to have that. I want to have that. And the Bible says in James 3:16, for where envying and strife is, listen, there is confusion and every evil work. So here's this, folks. Once you reach planet covetousness, you open yourself up to every evil work. Hence, church fraud schemes. Secretaries stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars. All these preachers for tax fraud and evasion. And the list goes on and on and on. They have opened themselves up to every evil work through covetousness, which Jesus says, take heed and beware. Let's keep going. All right, the second point. I hope you're loving this now. Don't turn it off. The second point is this. This man was plentiful, rich, with the easy life of a rich person, but he wanted to build bigger barns, greater goods, and although he had an easy life, he wanted an even easier life for himself. And he wanted his easier life for himself to last as long as possible. Now, this man wanted to remain as the sole beneficiary. Notice what he doesn't say. Okay, I'm going to read it to you again. In Luke 12, 16 through 19, King James. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? Not my family's fruits, not my wife's fruits, not my brother's fruits, where my fruits. Okay? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and will build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Who else was in that text? Who else was in this? Who else was he talking about making easy and taking pleasure? Nobody but himself. That's another. We can't chase that. The third and final point that I want to leave with you, because again, the second point is suggesting, look at celebrities, for example. Let's look at Floyd Money Mayweather. This is a multi-billionaire. No orphanages, no widows, no disability folks, no kids, no homeless people. I mean, there's no one in the world with great needs, medical bills, college, nobody who's benefiting from this guy. He has all this money and swag and fame for himself. Okay? Now, let's keep going. The third and final point that I want to leave with you is God put before him the cost of his eternity. But this man loved riches and how they enabled him to please himself. He bragged and said, I got all this stuff. As a matter of fact, I want more, and I'm going to build bigger, and I'm going to say to my soul, that's what I'm going to do. He's saying this to God. And God replies and said to him, thou fool, thou fool, thou fool. God is not impressed by this brother's portfolio. God looks this rich man in his face with plentiful riches and goods and says, thou fool. Let's keep reading. I can roast that. Okay. So the man said, build bigger, have greater, and even easier. This is what the man said. The Lord said, thou fool. The same soul you please with ease and good living is the same soul that will cost you heaven. God says this to the rich man. Tonight your soul is going to be required. And then what's going to happen with all this stuff? That's what God says. Here is a verse I want to leave you with and a question that will conclude Prosperity Gimmick 14. Here's the verse, Matthew 16:26, King James. It says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? This rich man wanted barns and goods, and he gave it in exchange. God says, thou fool, at the thought of what you're saying. That's foolish because of eternity. All right? So my question for you as I leave is, do you want for your soul things that will cost you eternity with Jesus? Do you want for your soul the things that will cost you eternity with Jesus? This is the Prosperity Gimmick 14. That's tay-love. That is my time. I gotta stop. I know the word is good, but I don't want to keep you. That's all I got this week. Until next time, we'll see, man. God bless you.
Be that the sun sets free, we will be free indeed. Be free from sinful slavery. Jesus will set you free. Be that the sun sets free, we will be free indeed. Be free from sinful slavery. Jesus will set you free.
His name is Jesus, Lamb of God came to liberate. John chapter 3:17, I will demonstrate. Outside, inside, east and the